of the Hammer, a podcast about Warhammer, the Games Workshop.
Hello, Hammerheads. It's Michael, and we are back. We're doing part 2 of the Skaven. We took a little bit of a break last week. I think mainly it was just not communicating for scheduling, I think, or did you guys have something going on? I really didn't. I just never got with you guys to arrange getting together. And of course, I am sitting here with my 2 co-hosts. Go ahead, guys.
Seth here. Wes, as usual.
And Wes is still equally as excited about the Skaven. And we're going to talk about rules today.
No, we actually just changed the name to Age of the Skaven.
Yeah.
This is just a Skaven podcast now.
I'm okay with that.
It's just Skaven tide.
I'll allow it. I will allow it.
You will allow that. I can't say that I would be opposed necessarily. It would be a good title. Hey. Anyway, to our sponsors, Age of the Hammer is brought to you by the South Georgia War Games Association. The SGWA is where the best miniature players in South Georgia get their game on. We are also brought to you by Broken Brush Gaming. And Wes?
Broken Brush Gaming is a commission paint service located here in South Georgia. If you are looking to get an army painted, or you have questions about paint schemes or techniques to use for painting your own army, then you can definitely hit us up. You can reach Broken Brush by emailing us, brokenbrushgaming@gmail.com. Also, we are on Twitter. That's probably where I'm the most active. At broken_brush, and also on Facebook /Broken Brush Gaming.
And that brings us to our typical games and hobby.
I think today we are also brought to you by coffee.
Yes, we are. If you hear any slurping, we each got us a cup of coffee before we sat down to podcast. It's a lazy afternoon, Sunday afternoon, and I normally take a little bit of a nap, and we're recording, I guess, a little bit earlier than normal. So yeah,
if you hear the slurping, it's probably me, and if you're listening, Mom, sorry, I know you taught me better.
I would wager that your mother does not listen to the podcast.
I will start off hobby just because mine's going to be relatively brief with regards to that. You wouldn't tell her about it?
If I told her about it, she probably would.
Yeah. That's like my mom asks me every now and then, it's like, how do I get your podcast? And I tell her, and I'm like, you're not going to be interested in listening to it, Mom, but this is how you get it. And then the next time I see her, how do I get your podcast?
My mom, she would want to talk about it. She'd be nice. So that one thing that she talked about, I appreciate it. It's good effort. Solid hustle on that, Mom. I appreciate
it. Moms are going to be moms.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, my hobby for the past 2 weeks, a little bit of painting, not a ton, just other stuff in the way, but have started getting a little bit of flesh paint on some of the models, so making a little progress. That actually is, other than reading Skaven rules, that is about it as far as for wargaming stuff. I've been spending a ton of time going back through back episodes of our role-playing stuff that we'd recorded video-wise and up to YouTube and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I think that in the past couple of weeks, I have probably uploaded about 10 or 12 episodes to the RPG podcast, the Death by Dice podcast that we also do. So I've been really busy with that. I did finally start the Powder Mage series, but I literally just started it, so I'm not really into the first book too much yet. But I hope to finish it pretty quickly. So far I'm already enjoying it. So
Tamis just killed the king, and that's all. You read the first page. Yeah. Wait, you read the cover.
That's it for me.
That's the best part about that book. The part that seems like the spoiler is literally on the jacket of the book.
Kills the king.
Yeah. No, you're gonna love that. You're gonna really like Tamis. Tamis is one of my favorite fantasy characters of all time.
I already like the name.
He's really cool. And Two Shot is pretty cool too. But
pretty cool.
Well, Wes, what you got?
Let's see here.
Oh, I also ordered more equipment for us for podcasting and or broadcasting. Some microphones. We talked about that just briefly before we started. So hopefully sound will be a little bit better. Maybe.
Nice.
Could it? Sort of.
Getting into the hobby of making hobby.
Yeah.
I know what that's like. Let's see, what all did I do over the last 2 weeks? I haven't played any Well, I don't think any of us probably played.
I haven't.
Just because other stuff going on. I am continuing work on my table. Now getting it converted not only to a gaming table, but a recording and videoing and streaming table. So we're working on a frame that goes over it that will hold all of the equipment, lights, and things like that. At the end of the day, it was going to be a multi-purpose table. Like, yeah, if people came over, I could clear all my gaming stuff off and like have dinner on it. Yeah, it's probably not going to happen anymore. It is a gaming table. But let's see.
At
what
least
else.
your priorities are right.
Yeah, no. You can always sit at the gaming table and eat just fine.
That's right.
That's what the couch is for.
And if my parents come over for Christmas Eve dinner, they have a problem sitting at the gaming table. Well, sorry, it's still a comfortable table.
There you go.
Let's see. Been doing some work on the Screaming Bill. Been doing most of that work up until the past couple of days, just on the stream, so that I would have all of the work from the Screaming Bill on stream. But just kind of got antsy the last couple of days, and it's nearing completion. Just a couple of little things left to finish up here and there, some of the details, and get it all glued together, and it'll be ready to go. What else have I done? Oh, I built my own knobs.
Yeah.
Nice.
Instead of buying the ones from GW, I basically used EPS foam, the pink insulation board foam.
Use your new cutter.
Yes, I got a new wire cutter that is awesome. My dad had made me a homemade one that was running on just like a laptop charger, and I burned it out eventually. Which it worked for a good long time. In fact, when I told my dad that I burned it out, he was kind of like, "I'm surprised it lasted that long."
Yeah.
But no, the new one is great. Like it gets super hot and just like butter goes right through the foam. Of course, I have to work outside because it produces a horrible
It does
smell.
not smell like butter.
And like not only work outside, but also wear a respirator because it is not a pleasant smell.
Yeah, all kinds of toxic fumes.
Yeah. So I got those built, and I've got the first layers of the paint going on. It's just getting to the detail part of the paint now. And then I'm going to try some tricks with some resin in the middle to make like the swirly bits. that go
Oh,
in the
nice.
middle.
Yeah.
But I assume they're close to the right size. They're roughly a 6-inch circle. They might be a little big, but whatever.
Okay.
Doesn't bother me. They look cool, and I didn't.
It's not going to bother any of us.
Yeah.
I didn't pay $55 for them, which was rule number one.
Although those models, the GW models, do actually look pretty good.
They look really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
not
like
that I didn't like them, but I was kind of like, I kind of want to challenge myself
Yeah.
with my terrain making, just to see if I can do it. And I think they're going to turn out good. We'll see what happens with the resin in the middle. That may just go to flop, and I'll just put a bunch of green in there to do that. But I think it look cool. I've gotten some more work done on some of my ruined castle pieces. So those are a lot of those have the detail into them. The one thing that happened with those was I've gotten about 3 or 4 of them done with like cutting in all the brickwork with my wood cutter or my wood burner, and then I realized, oh wait, you got to do the stone on the other side too. So I'm not going to worry about making the stone look symmetrical on both sides because I don't think you'll actually notice it, even if you really do check it out and look. So, but I do have to cut the pattern into both sides.
Yeah.
Because that would look proper. So
Oh, they just plastered one side.
right. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
possibly. That gives me a way better idea.
Yeah, you could just like do
I could
like
actually
rugged-
plaster the inside.
Yeah.
And then knock parts of it off and cut grain into just that. Oh, that would look
Yeah, that'd look pretty awesome.
yeah. I would make my life harder.
Glad I gave you that idea.
Let's see. Been getting a little bit more work done on my Eldar. Started some Dark Reapers, which I'm painting in a bone color instead of black because I don't ever paint things the way they're supposed to be painted.
I still need to do my Nurgle.
And that's about it for models and stuff. I finished book 4 of The Expanse on audiobook, so I'm now ahead of the TV show.
Nice.
So when the new season comes out in the next month or whatever,
You won't have to watch it.
well, I mean, I'll watch it, but I will now be viewing it through the lens of, I read the book and it's not as good as the book.
Yeah.
You'll be that guy.
You'll be like,
that guy.
that season wasn't any good. And I'll be like, what are you talking about? It was awesome.
Yeah. But then so I picked up because I want to pick up Oathbringer, the third book of the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson.
Mhm.
I went ahead and used my Audible credits to get the first 2 books of that series, and I started listening to Way of Kings a few days ago. So I'm going to listen through those, and then I'll buy Oathbringer and read it with my eyes instead of my ears. But just to catch back up, I'm just listening while I paint. So if you've never read the Stormlight Archive, oh my God, they're really, really good. I highly recommend anything Brandon Sanderson, to be fair, but yeah, that one. And I'm getting caught back up on Critical Role. Only about 8 episodes behind now.
Oh man, I am way more than that behind.
Yep. And it was funny. I was watching an episode before Seth came over to help me work on the table today, and there was a point where they're doing something with Sam now and his character, and Talos was like, I was waiting for the Regal bomb. I mean, it's like a lot of his backstory gets revealed, and it's insane. I was just like, oh my God, hey Sam, at the same time I love you. Like, it's amazing. So, but yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I need to start catching up on that, and I'm gonna have to do it with their podcast instead of the video though, because I can listen to that when I'm doing other things.
Yeah.
So catch up on the storyline, then I can start watching the podcast again.
Yeah, because I get so distracted when the video's on that I'll just walk off and forget about it.
See, I won't do that. I'll forget to do the other stuff that I'm working on, and I watch the video instead of just listening to it while I'm doing the other stuff.
I can't sit there and watch TV.
I mean, to be fair, I can just sit there and watch Laura Bailey the whole time.
This is true.
True.
It's very true.
True.
That's true.
What about you, Seth?
Well, my Army ADD got the better of me.
Uh-oh.
So
Wait. Does Tila know?
Yes.
Okay.
She was told after it was done.
Okay, so alter question. Is Tila okay with this?
I think she has to be.
There's no return policy, so
that doesn't mean she has to be okay with it. That just means that it's a done deal anyway.
Right. So everybody has a Chaos Army, and talking with Ryan and everything, I've always wanted to do a Slaanesh army, but I didn't really want to paint like 90 of the same Slaanesh models, and it's obviously not going to get a book for a little while. So I was like, I don't know what I want to do, and so I came across the Dark Oath and the Slaves to the Darkness box, that Godsworn box, and I was like, that'd be a really cool starting box just to get my foot in the door. And this was like a couple weeks ago. And right at the same time, eBay gave me a coupon on whatever I wanted. So
Hey.
I was like, hey, there you go. So I bought the Godsworn box for that, and I've been putting that together. It's not much, I think, and I traded off some spare bits that I had laying around for some more Chaos Warriors. So that all together, I can get a pretty decent force. And then I'm going to paint them up. Interestingly, I did a test model the other day, and I don't like it because it looks weird. But I think my original idea, with inspiration from Game of Thrones, because that's coming out on April 14th, it's going to be so amazing. Can't wait for that. I'm going to do a lot of their cloaks and stuff in like the house colors, and just have different units have the different house colors, and then kind of want to do the Lord on Manticore as a dwarf. And be Lord Tyrion.
There you go.
With a giant sword. So
are you saying that you're gonna have me convert your rider
into a midget?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Don't act
into a little
about
person.
Bills in the mail.
Yeah.
So is the check.
You're right. Already on the way. No refund policies, so Tila can't get mad.
Right.
So that's what I've been working on, is just putting that whole box together, or at least mostly together. I've taken over Tila's painting table, so it's full.
That probably went over less well than getting the models.
Yeah, that was not great. There are sprues and bits and clippings and everything, and now I have to buy new cat clippers because I ruined the old pair apparently clipping things. So yeah, there's a lot of turmoil in my house right now.
Yeah, that's what I told you. Just buy that pair of flush cutters that I have linked on my Amazon links.
Yep, I'm gonna have to.
They're $5. And they're Prime, so it's free shipping.
It's not just Army ADD. I will forget this instantly. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. Just putting together Chaos Boys.
Are you guys still doing regular paint night?
Yeah, we shoot Monday, Wednesday.
Monday and Wednesday?
Regular-ish.
Ish.
Yeah, this past Monday I was
What
tired from work.
What time ish?
Was it 8 to 10?
Yeah, 8 to 10. Yeah.
8 to 10.
Unless Wes has to move a whole office.
Yeah, then I get home and I'm just like,
yeah.
which was that was Monday.
I need to do something regular like that. That's what I was asking. But
Yeah, it keeps me
even if it's just one day a week, I need to do something regular.
painting for sure.
That's really the only reason that we do it, so the Teflon paint.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And so the Teflon paint.
Yeah.
I'm gonna paint it.
I woke up this morning and there was no stream, so I did not paint. Even though I sat in front of the TV and did nothing.
Wednesdays would actually work for me because Shannon's busy with stuff, so that would be an option.
Yeah. Well, that's what I did. Put together a lot of Chaos Boys. So, and then of course, after I started putting them together, new Blades of Corn Battle Tome.
New ridiculous battle tome.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
now I'm just gonna slap red on them and highlight them in bronze and call it a day.
I'm just gonna throw this out there, like, screw you, GW. But you know what? Actually, I'm glad that I don't have my corn arm anymore because I wouldn't want to play it. I know we're not talking about it yet, but that book is the stupidest thing they've ever put out. I've watched 3 or 4 battle reports on the internet, like just on YouTube. They're all over by turn 2 because of how ridiculous corn is.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna play some Slaves to Corn. It's not gonna be as ridiculous as actual Blades of Corn, but we'll see what a couple of Slaughter Priests can do with some of those stupid new spells. And no, I'm sorry, not spells.
I'm sorry, they're spells.
Yeah, I mean they are.
They're spells.
And then the demons are just like Bloodthirst is just annihilate everything.
Oh
Yeah.
They're dumb.
And I just made all of our corn fans angry when I said, I'm sorry, they're spells.
I mean, they were angry to begin with,
They're spells.
so
Well, they can't be unbound, so maybe they're not spells.
No, they're just spells that are better than anybody
Spells
else's
that can't be
spells.
unbound, yeah.
The chaos god that abhors magic has the best spells.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
What you do?
that's how it works. Yep.
You broke it.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Well, let's talk Skaven. Talk to us, Skaven man, Mr. Rat Man.
So, I have the same number of games under my belt that I had from last time, unfortunately. Just because.
Yeah, I haven't played since we got together with
Yeah, with
Ryan at his place.
Yep. So, there are allegiance abilities out the wazoo.
Oh gosh, you are not kidding.
So you take them all.
Yes, you can. You have them all. You get so there's 4 that you get regardless of what you decided. And that is lead from the back, which the lookout sir rule applies to missile weapons and melee weapons.
It's so stupid.
For a Skaven hero, as long as they're not a monster.
But I mean, that is so stupid. But
It also makes so much sense.
I love the way they made the fluff of the Skaven leaders. They made a rule that will work, and it's not completely broken. But it's so stupid.
I think it would have made even more. It would make more sense fluff-wise that instead of the lookout sir rule applying in melee, that when you have them, like, take lookout sir away from them altogether, they're not -1 to hit ever. But as long as there's Skaven of any variety within 3 inches of them, you can just kill them instead.
Do like the Fire Slayers.
Mhm. You basically transfer wounds.
The father, you roll a die and 4 up, 5 up,
I mean,
whatever
like
you
how-
decide to make it.
Yeah,
they
like
just
how
transfer the wounds.
Necromancers can transfer
yeah.
the wounds into
Yeah.
skeletons, whatever. Yeah, like he just literally just grabs a rat that's next to him and throws him in front of whatever's attacking him. That would have made a whole lot more sense.
I kind of wonder if they didn't try that first and
Because it was super powerful.
Yeah.
You put a
Yeah.
unit of 40 clan rats next to
to
you
every
can put
hero.
a unit of 60 zombies next to a necromancer, and he gets 60 extra wounds. So.
Yeah, because that's not stupid.
guaranteed.
That's true. But yeah, either way, it's a cool ability.
What do you have to roll?
It's a 4-up.
So then you have Scurry Away, which is another one. And when you're chosen to fight in the fight phase, a Skaven type hero can run away instead of fighting, and they just make a normal move, and it's a retreat.
Yeah.
So they just run away during that. You have overwhelming mass, which you add 1 to hit rolls for Skaven Tide units while they have 20 or more models. In addition, you add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by Skaven Tide units while they have 30 or more models.
Which they're all going to have.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it. Well, that rule actually hurts Stormvermin. Because generally speaking, you don't take Stormvermin in more than 20 man units.
Yeah.
Which means you kill one of them, they lose their +1 to hit. Stormvermin's old rule was that if they had more models in their unit than the unit they were attacking, they got +1 to hit.
I see. So they kind of went down a
It
notch.
does hurt them a little.
But overall, all your units got better.
Well, I mean, it's literally just there's 2 units that are. Well, I mean, no, there are a lot.
Well, it's yeah.
Giant, like,
I mean, not all, because you've got the units with the big Gribblies and stuff like that.
But there are a lot of
and your
units
weapon
that do
teams,
benefit from that.
things like that. Yeah.
Then you have strength in numbers. When a Skaven Tide unit takes a battle shock test, you add 2 to its bravery characteristic instead of 1 for every 10 models that are in the unit. So, as there are more rats around, they get braver.
Okay, I need a reminder because I think I had forgotten this rule. Is that a general rule with the latest General's Handbook?
The +1.
The +1 for
That's
units
a general rule from the original.
Yeah.
from the original.
Yeah, it's always been.
Okay, I had just totally forgotten that one. I was like,
Yeah,
I must have forgotten the rule.
when you have 10 guys, you get +1 to bravery. 20 guys.
I mean, when I read it, I was like, oh,
It's just
okay.
it's one I always forget.
Yeah.
Most people.
I never have remembered to add that. I don't think. But
And then you have the allegiance abilities that apply to the clans. Because everything falls under Skaven Tide, you can mix all the clans together in your army, and you can also get all of these rules. So your master clan, and generally these abilities apply to your heroes and some of the abilities that they can do. So your master clan heroes,
Yep.
they have skilled manipulator, which each time a master clan model uses a command ability, roll a die. On a 5-up, you receive 1 extra command point.
free command points.
It sounds great, except you never use command abilities, other than like the generic ones, because most of the command abilities that you have are.
See, and I thought, well, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
But from with you saying that, it's like, all right, it's pretty good, but you're not really going to use it.
And then how close you have to be. It's going to be your vermin lords that are going to be using those command abilities to like make things not take battle shock and stuff like that, which still works. So but on a 5-up, you get a command point back. Molder has prize creations. At the start of the first battle round, before determining which player has the first turn, you pick a friendly clan Molder fighting beast, which is like your Hell Pit Abominations and things like that. For each Master Molder that you have in your army, Master Molder is a new war scroll that came out with the book. That same fighting beast cannot be picked more than once to benefit from this ability, but you add D3 wounds to the characteristic to
his wounds
of
characteristic.
each model.
Yep.
You roll separately. You can reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made with melee weapons by those models as well. So basically, your Master Molders are going to be leading around big nasty beasts, and you can make them stronger. Eshin gets Masters of Murder. If your army includes a Clan Eshin hero at the start of the first battle round before determining which player has the first turn, you pick 1 enemy hero for each Clan Eshin hero in your group. You can reroll wound rolls for attacks made by friendly Clan Eshin units that target those enemy heroes in that battle.
Now that's actually cool because unlike a lot of other things, it's not that hero to that hero. Mm-hmm. It's Eshin units.
Yep.
So you got a lot of things that can get
so
that
you
bonus.
Well,
potentially you have a lot of things.
Yeah, if you're taking a big unit of gutter runners or something, that you're going to throw up the board. And then Verminus gets Mighty Warlords. This one's kind of neat until you see the command traits. But when you pick command traits, you can pick 1 command trait for up to 6 friendly Claw Lords, in addition to the 1 command trait for your general if your general is not a Claw Lord. You must pick a different command trait for each Claw Lord that has a command trait, and no model can have more than 1 command trait. You can use the command trait for the Claw Lord even though they are not your general. So basically all of your Verminous Claw Lords get to have a command trait as if they were the general.
And can use it.
Which is kind of cool.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Warpstone Sparks.
This one's my favorite. Warpstone Sparks for Clan Scryer. You get D3 plus 3 at the beginning of the battle. You cannot use more than 1 Warpstone Spark in the same phase. But when you use a Warpstone Spark, you carry out one of the following Warp Spark abilities. In the hero phase, you pick 1 friendly Clan Scryer wizard. You can reroll casting, dispelling, and unbinding rolls for that wizard until the end of that phase. At the end of that phase, roll a die on a 1. That wizard suffers D3 mortal wounds. That's like the old one from the General's Handbook.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
And Wes is pretty good about rolling those ones.
Yeah. I hurt myself on that. In your the next option you have is in your shooting phase, you pick a friendly clan scryer hero. Then that hero can pick up to 3 different friendly clan scryer units that are wholly within 13 inches, and you add 1 to the damage characteristic of missile weapons used by those units until the end of the phase. Roll a die at the end of the phase on a 1. The hero suffers D3 more wounds. That one's awesome.
That one's so stupid. That one hurts.
Yeah. It's why they changed it.
Yeah.
And then finally, in the combat phase, you can pick a clan scryer hero. You reroll hit rolls for that hero until the end of the phase. At the end of that phase, roll a die on a 1. The hero suffers D3 more wounds. That one's really dumb. You never use it.
Right.
Because you should be running low.
You should be, using your skill ability.
Yeah. And there's clan pestilence. We don't care about them, so we'll talk about them.
Wow.
I will tell you how I really feel. No, Clan Pestilence gets the Echoes of the Great Plagues. Basically, if the unmodified prayer roll for a prayer chanted by a friendly Clan Pestilence priest is 6, you can pick one of the following Great Plagues to manifest in addition to the effect of the prayer. Each Great Plague can only manifest once per battle, and no more than 1 Great Plague can manifest in the same turn. You get the... I'm not going to go... I'm just going to say what that is.
Yeah.
It's really long.
It's long.
You get the Bubonic Blight Plague, the Crimson Wheel Curse, the Red Maw Plague, and the Never Plague, and the Undulant Scourge.
Some of those are really nasty.
They are really nasty. You have to roll a 6 to get them to go off. They can only happen once. So it's very possible that you go through a battle
and never get one.
Although to be fair, if you're building a heavy pestilence army, you're
probably rolling a lot of dice. Yeah,
you're gonna be doing prayers a lot. So.
Which means in the course of a battle, you're going to get 10 to 15 die rolls, which means you're likely to hit at least one of them.
Yeah. I mean, I've rolled 15 dice and gotten 1 6. So
yeah.
Yep. That's the thing. So then we move into command traits. Each clan has their own list of 6 command traits.
Well, the first three are all duplicated. Yeah.
So you have Malevolent, which is you reroll wound rolls of 1 for attacks made with the general's melee weapons. You have Verminous Valor, which is on a 4+, instead of allocating a wound or mortal wound to the general, you allocate it to a friendly Skaven unit within 3 inches of the general.
There's what you're asking for.
Yeah. I mean, there's the take as your command trait.
Yeah.
Then you have Savage Overlord, which is add 1 to the bravery characteristics of friendly Skaven units while they're wholly within 18 inches of the general. All 6 clans have that.
Yeah.
Then you move in. So the Master Clan, they have.
Let me ask you something before. I mean, other than possibly Verminous Valor, because that's also going to combine with your leading from the rear, which makes that pretty stupid. Actually, you just keep them near a unit. But other than that, maybe for a particular guy that's going to be up front with a unit or something, I kind of got the impression as I was reading through these, why am I going to pick the first 3? Because the other 3 tend to be more in line with what type of Skaven army you're building.
The only time you're going to take the first 3 is if you've got a bunch of claws.
Yeah.
And you just need to give them one.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
But then, so Master Clan heroes can choose from Supreme Manipulator, Master, the original 3 we just spoke of, and then also Supreme Manipulator, Master of Magic, or Cunning. Supreme Manipulator is you can reroll the dice that determines if you get your command point back. Master of Magic is once per hero phase you can add 1 to a casting, dispelling, or binding roll for this general. Cool thing about that is you get to use it in your hero phase and your opponent's hero phase.
Yep.
For when you're dispelling and binding.
Yeah, because it's per magic phase,
it's
not
per
each
phase,
of your magic phases.
Or not per round. And then Cunning is after the battle has started. I love this one. Roll a die each time your opponent receives a command point. On a 6, you receive a command point instead.
But that's going to happen so rarely.
Yeah, but it's hilarious if it happens.
And that's for some of these armies that haven't been updated with all these command point shenanigans. It's pretty devastating.
It can be.
If you steal their command point.
Sure can be.
But I mean, most people are getting a couple of command points anyway.
It can seriously be devastating to the Beastman army, especially if you build the all herd where you're using that command point to get additional summoning.
Yeah.
I got a command point. I'm going to summon something this turn.
No, you're not.
Nope. Denied.
Got to roll a 6.
Yeah,
you got to roll a 6.
It's not going to happen for you, but sometimes.
No, not going to happen with me.
Almost a 17% chance of getting it each time.
Then
Says
you
the
move
guy
on.
that rolled 2 12s last time he played.
That's fair. Those aren't 6s, those are 12s.
All right, my bad.
That's 4 6s, Wes.
I know, but they weren't rolled individually. 1 die at a time, I can't ever roll a 6. Well, really.
You can roll a 6 almost 17% of the time.
Clan Scryer heroes get Masterful Scavenger, which is you add 2 to the number of Warpstone Sparks when you roll it at the beginning of the game. Deranged Inventor is...
That's just sick.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah, but you're not ever taking that one.
D3 plus 5.
You're not ever taking that one, though. Because the next 2 are even better.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
don't know if it's just the fact that he just plays that one all the time, just Clan Scryer, or it's just awesome. But these seem so much better than the other ones.
Oh, you mean the Allegiance?
Yeah.
I think it's
I take that
because
little mob of Scryers.
Yeah. I think it's because we play Wes, who likes Scryer, and don't get me wrong, Scryer's pretty awesome, and they're fun to play against. They've got to be fun to play, and the way Wes plays them, these others are. I mean, they're fun.
Oh, yeah. I don't ever not push it.
Yeah,
If I got the ability to push it, I
Yeah.
do.
So I think that's why we kind of lean that way.
Yeah. Deranged Inventor is at the start of your shooting phase, you pick a friendly Clan Scryer unit that is wholly within 13 inches of the general. You can reroll hit rolls for attacks made with missile weapons by that unit until the end of the phase. That was okay. This is the one that everyone's taken over, Sea Destruction. At the start of the shooting phase, you can pick up to 3 friendly weapon team units that are wholly within 13 inches of the general. You reroll hit rolls for attacks made by those units until the end of that phase. So basically, you pick your Arch Warlock or your Warlock Engineer, whatever, to be your general. You give him Overseer Destruction. You put 3 rattling gun teams in front of him. You walk him up the board within 12 inches. You use your Warpstone Spark. You're re-rolling your 4-ups to hit that are going to have 2 damage. 4 is the wound, -1 red.
And you just rip anything.
You do a lot of damage.
You shred anything with your shooting.
Yep. And based on the clarification in the FAQ, when you do more warp lead, it is still roll 2d6 and double that number. It's not roll 4d6.
Right.
So, yeah, more warp lead mixed with that. You're looking at 12d6 shots that are hitting on 4s, re-rolling, wounding on 4s, -1 red, 2 damage. If you can get it up there and get the Death Star to hit once, it really will shred whatever it looks like.
Yes, it will.
It's pretty good.
It will just make your opponent cry.
And then after that, it will die.
It's going to be a crap ton of wounds.
It will die immediately. Pestilence heroes.
If there's enough left to kill it.
Well, I mean, they're probably only aiming at one big nasty thing. So, Pestilence get Master of Rotten Ruin. You can reroll the dice that determines if a prayer chanted by this general is answered, just upping your chances of getting a 6.
Yeah.
Architect of Death. You reroll wound rolls for attacks made with missile weapons by friendly Cleanse Pestilence units while they are wholly within 18 inches of this general.
Why 18 inches?
No, it should be 13.
That's what I thought.
But
yeah,
so you can spread your plate catapults out a little bit further.
Yeah.
Because those are your missile weapons.
Well, yeah, I get it, but it's like everything else is, well, not everything else, because there are a few others.
Yeah, 18 and 13
like
are the standard numbers, yeah.
Yeah, because what's Nurdle's number?
7.
Yeah, so it should be 20 inches at least, if you're going to add the Pestilence and then
Well, it should
Nurgle
be 14 and 21.
I mean,
Or 13 and 7, yeah, 20.
Yeah.
And then you have Disease.
Come on, Games Workshop, hire us.
The cool thing about Architect of Death is you're going to have your general sitting next, like just sitting in the middle of a bunch of plate catapults.
Yep.
That are now going to be wounding on 2. I think it's wounding on 2, rerolling. So.
Yeah. That's
yeah. And then at the start of your hero phase, roll a die. If the general is within 3 inches of any enemy units on a 4-up, inflict D3 mortal wounds on 1 enemy unit within 3 inches of the general. Just because he's got so much disease and crap on him, he gets other people around him sick.
Yeah, but you don't want him there anyway.
No.
So, I mean, you know, at the start of your hero phase, if they got him engaged last turn, if you didn't scare away, why?
I mean, if you weren't able to, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's possible. But, yeah.
Verminous, you can pick all of these if you got a bunch of Claw Lords, which there is a legit army list that is 3 units of 40 Storm Vermin and 5 Claw Lords.
Okay. Nice.
It's a weird army, but it probably pretty good.
Yeah.
Brutal Fury is once per battle at the start of the combat phase, you can add 3 to the attacks characteristic of this general's melee weapons until the end of that phase.
Once per battle.
It is a once per battle thing, but it's also very situational because Claw Lords, when they take damage, every wound that's allocated to them gives them another attack.
Yeah.
So if they're sitting on 1 wound, then they're at 7 attacks.
You stack
And you add
those
that,
3
they've got
on.
10 attacks.
Yeah, and they're about to die anyway, so why not use it? Yeah.
Powerful, you add 1 to their wounds characteristic, or Devious Adversary. If the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with a melee weapon that targets this general is a 1, add 1 to the attack characteristics of this general's melee weapons until the end of the phase. So if he gets attacked by somebody, you can get claw lord attacks up really, really high.
Yeah.
If they're getting, just depending on the situation. Then you get the ones for Molder. You have the Molder Supreme. When you use...
Okay, so I've got a question.
Mm-hmm.
You've got on Devious Adversary, it's when a melee weapon that targets the general. So like if I've got my hero in it and he swings and he's got 4 attacks and I roll 3 1s, well that's going to be 1 because that was a melee weapon, not number of attacks.
Yeah, but it's an attack made with the melee weapon. You made 4 attacks. Every time you make an attack with that melee weapon.
That's a valid argument, I suppose.
So if you have 2 melee weapons, I have to pick which one I'm choosing.
If the unmodified attack roll made with... Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
if you have 2 melee weapons, I
Okay.
have to pick one.
Yep.
Which is silly. It should just be if you attack me, but whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So yeah, like
I was thinking a single hero that only had 1 weapon, you might only get 1, but if you had them against a unit and they're like multiple models attacking them.
they're all
right.
But I think you're right. I think that's written. You're the correct interpretation.
Yeah. So like if you had a unit that attacked with 30 attacks, they're all using the
same melee weapon. It'd still potentially be better, but it could also potentially be worse.
Yeah,
because it might kill it.
you're probably still going to die. You're getting attacked by someone with 30 attacks.
Yeah, what's a Claw Lord save, though?
It's a 4-up. Maybe a 5-up. I can't remember.
4-up's not horrible.
No.
I mean, it is horrible. It's just standard.
Yeah.
So the Flesh Masteries of the Clan's Molder. You get Molder Supreme. When you use the Prize Creations battle trait and pick 1 friendly Clan Molder Fighting Beast model for this general, you can add 3 to the model's weapons characteristic instead of D3, or add D6 to that model's weapons characteristic instead of D3.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a gamble.
Yeah, it is a gamble.
Yeah. If you roll the 1,
it sucks, but
yeah.
Yeah. And
But if you roll the 6,
yeah, but then you don't have a command tree for the rest of the
Yeah,
game. Horde Master. When this general uses the Unleash More and More Beasts command ability, you receive a new unit on a 4+ instead of a 5+. That's basically where they're just like the Unleash More and More Beasts is they're like just more rats. They just throw like.
so how often can they do that?
It's the command ability.
So that one's potentially very helpful.
Yeah. So now Molder is actually quite viable. I just don't like Molder.
Yep.
And then Burleys, you add 1 to their wounds characteristic. And then finally, Eshin, Unrivaled Killer, is you can reroll hit rolls for attacks made by this general that target the enemy hero chosen for the Masters of Murder battle trait. So your Masters of Murder gets better for your general.
Yeah, for your general.
Shadow Master. While this general is within 1 inch of a terrain feature, this general is not visible to enemy models while they are more than 6 inches from this general.
That's pretty good.
That's really good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
The funny thing about that
get her
is
from terrain piece to terrain piece, they can't shoot you.
it doesn't say that only applies to not monsters.
Yeah.
So that means you could have a Deceiver be your general, and they are a Clan Eshin hero.
Yep.
Which means you just keep a general next to terrain, and he can't be targeted.
Unless they're within 6 inches.
Unless you get close to him.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's
Yeah,
dumb.
It doesn't matter. You just skittle
It's
across the board anyway.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Oh, you're close? I'm gone.
And then incredible agility. This general can fly. Which is, to be fair, Deathmaster Skinich, like he basically had to fly because he could just like run up and down buildings.
Yeah.
So that makes sense that they add that in there as a tribute to Snitch.
Then we've got our artifacts.
Yeah, I'm gonna let somebody else talk for a while.
You got stuff?
I'm gonna end of the book because this is not the book that I got. I got the Flesh Eater Courts book because I'm a death boy.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take the Relics of Ruin for Master Clan heroes.
All right.
You've got the Warpstorm scroll. It's a once per battle. I gotta be honest. I do not like most of the artifacts that are once per battle. Why am I bothering to take it if I only get each once? With that said, sometimes properly used, it can be awesome. But and I'm not necessarily speaking about this one.
Well, a lot of them they harken back to things like Dispel Scrolls and things like that from fantasy.
Yeah. I hate this one because, first of all, it's a once per battle, but then secondly, in your hero phase, the bearer can use this scroll. If they do so, you roll 1 die for each enemy unit within 13 inches of the bearer. On a 4-up, the enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Okay, if you get him up there where there's a whole bunch of units around him, you've got decent chance of putting some wounds on a few units, but you're only hitting it 50% of the time, and it's a once per battle use.
Well, the idea is if you are fighting against somebody who has a lot of units.
Yeah.
Not several big units, lots of individual
units.
So things like Deacon, they have lots of units.
Deacon, Death.
My issue is you've got a once per battle thing, and it's only 50% of the time.
Well, the idea is that you're giving this to a Vermin Lord. They're going to be running up into combat anyway, and so what they do is before they run up into combat, they pop that, do some mortal wounds, and then they charge in and slaughter something.
Oh no! I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I just don't like the once per battle, and it's only 50%.
Yeah.
Because if you get a bad series of rolls, you just wasted an artifact and got nothing out of it.
Still, this is
one or the other.
Yeah.
Either
or like a once per battle 2 up, maybe, or once per battle 3 up.
Yeah. Make it where it's more likely to hit if it's a once per battle, or give it to them every round, and it's
or get rid of the 13-inch range.
I mean
no, that'd be too bad.
No, just once per battle.
The Stormcast on the Dracoth that's got a little lightning ball that it shoots out.
Mm-hmm.
That's at every shooting phase.
Yeah.
And it's 4 up. It does it to units within. Now it's not within 13 inches.
Yeah, it's like 3.
But
or 6.
Yeah, but this is a secondary artifact to me. I mean, I'm going to take this if I have a War Scroll.
Oh yeah.
A secondary artifact.
I got a battalion.
And in fairness, it's 13 inches from him, so it's a 26-inch radius. You get a pretty good little bubble with it, but I'm not.
No, I'm not a fan of the battles. I agree.
Suspicious Stone. You roll a die each time you allocate a wound or mortal wound to the bearer. It's your 5 up in bone.
Most of your master clan generals already have that.
Yeah.
The only one that doesn't is Gracie on foot. So.
Yeah. Nalshard, you pick one of the bearer's melee weapons. If any wounds inflicted by the weapon are allocated to an enemy model and not negated, that enemy model suffers 1 mortal wound at the end of the battle round, even if the wounds inflicted by Nalshard are subsequently healed. So
once again, don't like it because
it's an extremely situational.
Well, the only thing that you're giving it to. Well, the Master Clan wizard or generals that you want up front would be, or your Master Clan heroes that you would want up front that would have an artifact are going to be Vermin Lords, and you don't want anything hanging around after they get in combat.
Right.
You want them to.
You want it dead. Yeah. So, now I would argue situationally, if you got them down to that 1 wound left at the end of the battle round, they die. So, and this situational.
Yep.
And then you're not engaged with them, which is what you want. Skaven Brew, once per battle, another one of those. In your hero phase, you can pick 1 friendly Skaven type unit within 3 inches of the bearer. The unit suffers D3 mortal wounds, but you can add 1 to the attack characteristic of melee weapons used by that unit until your next hero phase.
Not a fan.
I mean, you're doing damage to yourself in order to get the benefit, and it's a once per battle, but. Stock Grovel Rogues.
Really? D3 mortal wounds for 1 for a Skaven type unit?
Well, so I mean, it depends. Like, all right, do I want to do D3? Yeah.
If you got it in where you want to get just a massive number of attacks against something, then it might be useful.
But it's within 3 inches. Other than Vermin Lord, I'm not going to have them up near my unit of Clan Rats or Storm Vermin that are attacking.
I guess, but I mean, you're leading from the back, so I mean, just a Claw Lord can just pop that and pop a.
But a Claw Lord can't have it. That's Master Clan.
Oh.
Yeah, this is Master. Yeah.
Who does Master Clan? Well, that's everybody.
No, the Master Clan that's the Grey Seers and the Vermin Lords.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I mean, if you hide him amongst the unit, toward the back of it or something like that, then okay, maybe because he's going to be kind of protected.
Yeah, you kind of do have to move your casters forward.
Yeah.
Because the ranges are generally 13 inches. So.
Yeah.
Your Grey Seer is going to be there because they can't move the bell without 10. So
I think as far as a once per game, it has the potential to be better use than the other once per game. But I could be wrong. The Snot Grovel Rogues, I actually do like this one. Do not take battle shock tests for friendly Skaven type units while they are wholly within 13 inches of the bearer. So you got a 26-inch bubble around the bearer that's immune to battle shock without using command points.
Bell already does that.
Yeah. Well, true. But that gives you can cover another
you can cover
side of the table.
Bubble,
And then Staff of Rightful Supremacy. This one's actually pretty cool.
It's the one I always use.
Yeah, this one's pretty cool. Subtract 1 from casting rolls of enemy wizards while they're within 13 inches of the bearer. In addition, once per battle, you can dispel one endless spell within 13 inches of the caster. You do not have to roll 2d6. The dispel is automatically successful. So it's got a once per game ability, but it's also got a constant ability. That I like.
Yep, I use that one.
And the constant ability, okay, it's -1 to the casting. It's not huge and broken, but at least you have a constant ability through the game along with your once per battle.
Yeah, and if you give that to like your Warp Seer, your Vermilion Warp Seer, who you're going to be thrown in combat anyway.
Yeah. I like the last two of those. I like the last one best.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Clan Scryer Hero, you have the Brass Orb.
That's my favorite one.
I just like the Brass Orb. I like the
I just like what it is. This size orb of interlocking cogs can tear open the fabric of reality and plunge a nearby foe into the realm of chaos. It's a once per battle, but at the start of your hero phase, you can roll a dice on a 6. The closest enemy model within 6 inches is slain. I don't like how it says on the closest enemy model within 6 inches. If they're equally close, you can pick which one is slain. I think that's kind of dumb because I think you're putting a lot of restrictions on it.
You've got so many restrictions on it. I do not like it. I like the idea of it.
Yeah.
I don't like the rule for it. So once per battle.
Yep, once per battle.
You have to roll a 6.
Well, they've made it more complex. They've made it more restricted than it was in Fantasy.
Yeah.
In Fantasy, it had a much longer range, and you literally just said, "Click. Did I get a 6? Kill that thing."
Yep.
I mean, yeah, once per battle on a 6. That's what it should do.
You should be able to pick a unit within 6 inches on a 6.
But
once per battle, it shouldn't be just on a 6.
And to be fair, I think it should
Maybe
be.
a 5
I think
or
it should be.
6.
I think it should be a unit, not a model.
Yeah.
So I can point it at a unit and go, die.
Now
Suck it all in.
that I would be less. I mean, okay, it still needs to be pick one that's within 6, not the closest.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. And once per battle on a 6, if it says unit, then you can take that gamble. You've got that 17% chance of just wiping out that 30-man unit.
Yeah, I think
That's
with all,
right there in
with
your
all the
row.
restrictions that are on it, it should be if you don't succeed, then it's not gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you succeed,
It's gone. Yeah.
But if you're on 6 the first time, it's good. But if you fail, you can.
So many restrictions. There's
Never been called the brass yo-yo.
Okay.
I just don't see me, if I were playing Skaven, ever picking that one because it's so unlikely to work for me.
I do just like the idea of Skaven just throwing this brass orb. It's
Oh yeah, that's an awesome idea. I love the
and
idea
then
of
just
it.
planking off the chest and falling on the ground. And then
Nothing
nothing happens.
that's pretty Skaven.
Yeah.
I have to admit. Go ahead, Sam.
So all in all, that one's my favorite. Just
I love the idea
I
of
think
it.
it's terrible,
Execution is terrible.
but I like the
I
idea.
agree.
Warpstone armor. Roll a dice each time a wound inflicted. It's your standard 5-up. Attacking unit suffers 1 more of a wound. Esoteric warp resonator, which you can tell that you're in Clan Scryer.
Yeah.
At the start of each battle round, you receive 1 extra Warpstone Spark if the bearer is on the battlefield. That can only be used to perform a Warpstone Spark ability. If it is not used, it is lost. So
It
basically,
can only be a Warpstone Spark ability for that.
For that bear.
Right.
For the bear.
Because your pool is for all of your Clan Scryer heroes.
So that extra that
It's just
you're
that one
generating,
guy.
it's just that one guy.
Like basically, he just found one. Like, oh look,
look at this guy.
he picked up a warp cookie off the ground and decided to eat it.
I mean,
And if he doesn't use it by the end of the battle round, it's lost.
Skyre's Breath Bellows. At the start of your hero phase, the bearer can pump the bellows. If they do so, roll a dice for each unit other than the bearer that is within 3 inches of the bearer. On a 4+, that unit suffers D3. So
It doesn't say any unit. does it?
That's including
that is
yours.
just everything except for yourself.
But that's very Skaven.
Yeah, he's just pumping them bellows. Though I kind of want to see
I'm
that
killing
modeled.
everything and I don't care.
I expect if you're going to have a guy with that, they're going to have it modeled. They're just going to have giant bellows.
I mean, I'm not going to use it.
Yeah. Then there's the Vial of the Fulminator. At the start of your movement phase, you can pick 1 friendly Clan Skyer War Machine within 3 inches of the bear. Double that unit's move characteristic until the end of that phase. At the end of that phase, roll a dice on the 4+, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. You can put that on a
You put it on Doom Wheel.
Doom Wheel. Just
Yeah.
double.
Of course,
And then double it again.
Well, no, that's not how the Doom Wheel works.
You double the dice, right?
Doom Wheel is always 4. It's always 4d6 for
Yeah,
movement.
but you double the distance of the dice, right?
You roll the dice and you move that number.
Yeah, but can't you pump it?
When you pump it, it's just you can re-roll it. And if you roll any ones, something happens.
That's dumb.
Oh, if you roll any ones, that's when your opponent can take control of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because you will never.
Yeah, you're never going to use
You
it.
just
You're
never
never
re-roll.
Pump, pump up the
Because
jams.
with 4 dice, that's pretty decent odds of hitting a 1.
But no, so I mean, the neat thing about that one is, you use it at the beginning of the round and be like, all right, doom wheel,
Yeah.
get to flying, and you load it up, and then you roll the dice and just hope that you don't roll a 4.
I think the only one that I would actually use on this one, personally, is the Vigor Dust Injector. In your hero phase, pick one friendly Skaven Tide unit wholly within 12 inches of the bear.
Why 12? Why not 13?
Yep, because we're consistent.
No, this book has no consistency.
Add 1 to charge rolls and hit rolls for that unit until the next hero phase. However, at the start of your next hero phase, the unit suffers D3 mortal.
Cool thing I like about that one is it's Skaven Tide
Yeah,
and not
Yeah.
Scryer, so you can like throw it on your unit of Stormvermin. and
right.
Yeah.
next turn kill a couple of them, but make them better as they go.
Yeah, but I mean that
Pump 'em
unit
up.
that turn that you really want to get them in. Who cares if they die?
Yep.
They'll be fine.
And they're dying later anyway.
Yeah. Clan Pestilence, no one cares about.
I really don't, but
Did-
we should talk about it.
We should talk about it.
You're the Nurgle man.
But I don't like Pestilence either. They don't do Nurgle right. Blade of Corruption, you pick one of the bearer's melee weapons. You can re-roll wound rolls of attacks made with that weapon. Why are you going to? If you're doing that, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah.
So, the Foul Pendant, the bearer can attempt to unbind one spell in each enemy hero phase in the same manner as a wizard. Possibly, especially depending on who you're fighting
Do
against.
they even have heroes that aren't wizards?
I don't think so. I think it's just the Blade Priest.
Brooding Blade, pick one of the bearer's melee weapons. Again, at the end of the combat phase, roll a die for each model wounded by this weapon but not slain. On a 2+, that model's unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. How often is that going to be more than one model?
And a wound for you, and a wound for you, and a wound for you.
I mean, I guess you could split his attacks up against multiple
And just
multi-wound units,
Yeah.
but how often are you going to be in a situation where you can even do that?
Yeah, just touch
But
them with a
yeah,
staff.
I was just, Fumagatus. At the start of each combat phase, you can pick one enemy unit within 6 inches of the bearer. Roll a die on a 2+. Good radio. I do my hands out with the 6 inches because it's just driving me nuts that they're not doing something that's like related to 13.
The Fumagatus.
On a 2+, the unit suffers 1 mortal wound. On a 5+, suffers D3 mortal wounds instead of
I
1.
don't get that one when I read it. So when a name is spoken while this ornate censer is being swung, the cloud of pungent toxins surrounding it coalesces and seeks out the one who possesses that name. Swinging it around, screaming man thing. What's it going to seek?
A man thing.
A man thing.
Yeah.
It knows.
The cloud thing knows.
Or maybe it doesn't know because it's pestilence.
Okay. I like the fluff of this other one, probably because it sounds like Nurglish. The Blistervus, the living cyst. The sentient pustule migrates from host to host, whispering its mad ravings to drive its bearer into a fevered frenzy. So you add 2 inches to the bearer's move characteristic. In addition, you can re-roll hit rolls for attacks made by the bearer. Starting from the second battle round at the start of your hero phase, if there are any other friendly clan pestilence heroes within 13 inches of the bearer, you must transfer the artifact to one of them, even if they already carry an artifact of power.
That's really cool.
That one's kind of cool.
Yeah. I like
And you could plan it to stack up your artifacts, right? So you can get that guy a little bit closer.
And you will have multiple artifacts if you're playing pestilence because they're the only battalions that are worth it.
And then there's Liber Bubonicus. The bearer can use the Plague Prayers ability from the Plague Priest War Scroll. If the bearer is a Plague Priest, then it can use the Plague Prayers ability twice in your hero phase. So you get more prayers.
My Rats of Cain army, I could just play them as Clan Pestilence too, in addition to Daughters of Cain. So it'll be the Rats of Cain Pestilence. And then they can just pray for Plague Priest prayers. Wow, I cannot say that fast.
I just struggled with it myself.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at something like, what the heck are you talking about?
So
He's combining two completely separate armies into one.
Oh, yeah, well, he's
One
been
that's
talking
order
about-
and one that's chaos.
He's been talking about this for a while. This Rats of Cain stuff.
Yes, I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
if I've ever mentioned my Rats of Cain.
I don't know if you have on podcast. You have
But I
a
have this
conversation
idea
with
for the
us.
Rats of Cain, where you take rats, just the regular like clan rats, and you put the Daughters of Cain hair
On the rats.
on the rats,
Yeah.
and they turn into the Rats of Cain.
I mean, still just verminous clan rats. I mean,
I don't care. I think that'd be awesome.
I want to see the conversion.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
That's going to be one expensive conversion.
yeah.
Tila will not let me use the hair from her Daughters of Cain.
I can't imagine why
I
not.
don't either. I think it'd be a fantastic idea.
Oh, good gosh. Then there's the warp-touched war gear for
Yes,
Clan
speaking of
Verminous.
Man things and beard things. There's Thingsbane.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like the name.
Yeah, this blade has been worked with many foul enchantments to make it anathema to foes of the Skaven. This, of course, is all other races, and even the Skaven themselves.
Yep.
Pick one of the bear's melee weapons, add 1 to the damage characteristics of that weapon.
Because it just wants to murder everything.
It just doesn't like things. The Shield of Distraction. Reroll save rolls of 1 for attacks that target the bearer. In addition, at the start of the combat phase, pick 1 enemy model within 3 inches of the bearer. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by that model in that combat phase. That's unfortunate that it is model.
Yes.
Now you there, Chaos Man and Giant Unit.
Yeah.
You're at a -1. Everyone else,
No, you're fine.
You're fine. You can murder me.
I do like reroll save rolls of 1 though. Because
But I want you to think about that one. That shield of distraction is pretty amazing, because if you've got your hero near a unit, which you will, you've already got the Lookout Sir in melee, and then this on top of that.
oh yeah, no, I mean I think this one's fantastic, especially if you're that guy and it's your general and they happen to be from Shaiish and you've given them a
3-up.
3-up invuln save essentially because they're immune to rend, and then they can reroll save rolls of 1, and then they're at a -2 to hit, and your friends will never play with you again. But it's a great artifact.
I mean, to be fair, they're just going to kill the rest of your army.
That's
So-
right. They're just gonna be like, I'm ignoring him and killing everything else.
Screech Skull Trophies. Subtract 1 from the bravery characteristic of enemy units while they're within 13 inches of the bearer. I'm less and less enamored by bravery characteristic reductions the more battle tomes continue.
There's
to
a
come out.
lot of ways to mitigate that if you're on the
Yeah.
receiving end.
Just, I hope that it kind of comes back, but it won't. You can reroll hit and wound rolls of 1 for attacks made with melee weapons by the bearer. That's pretty cool. The Flake Pelt Cloak.
I like the rust cursed armor.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Not only does this heavy suit of rust-thick armor deflect the blows of the foe, but the ruin hexes scored into its plates spread tendrils of oxidizing entropy across the attacker's most treasured artifacts. Why not? Reroll save rolls of 1 for attacks that target the bearer. Again. In addition, at the start of the combat phase, you can pick 1 enemy hero with an artifact of power that is within 3 inches of the bearer. Roll 3d6. If the roll is exactly 13, that artifact of power can no longer be used. Oh.
That's
neat.
not going to happen often.
No.
But that's kind of cool.
13 is not the most common number to roll on 3d6.
No, it is not.
Then there's the Warpstone Charm. At the start of your hero phase, pick 1 unit within 3 inches. Why is everything's 3 inches? I mean, is it just because
it means that you're in combat.
Yep.
Yeah, but it just takes the 1 out?
Yeah.
Pick 1 unit within 3 inches, roll a dice on a 2 through 5. The unit suffers 1. On a 6, it's D3. Note that if there are no enemy units within 3 inches, you must pick either a friendly unit or the bearer.
bearer.
Oh, wow.
Which sucks.
Because at the start of the game,
Turn 1.
you pick
Yeah.
a unit.
Why are you going to bother with that one?
Because you could maybe have them travel behind a warp grinder. So they're not on the board at the beginning of the game. You're going to have a pop-up within 9 inches. So that they'll be able to get with
Fair, but if you don't get your charge, then
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
that's I'm just like not
Not worth it.
gonna. Yep. Then we've got the Monstrous Arcana for Clan's Molder heroes. You have a Lash of Fangs. You pick one of the bear's melee weapons. If the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with the weapon is a 6, it inflicts 1 mortal wound to the target in addition to normal damage. Foul Hide. If you're in your hero phase, you can heal up to D3 wounds allocated to the bear.
On the
I
Lash of Fangs,
always like healing.
I wish they would go back to. I wish they would be consistent on that. The unmodified hit roll of an attack, it inflicts 1 mortal wound in addition to any normal damage, but that's the hit roll, so you still have to wound with it. So is it 1 mortal wound, and then you still have to wound, and if it wounds, then it does its
Yeah,
normal.
they say in addition to normal damage.
Yeah, it's in
so-
addition to any normal.
Yeah, so you still got to get the normal.
But
Well,
they
do you have
always-
to get the normal damage,
I don't think so. I think you take the mortal wound.
even if you don't wound.
Yeah, because
Oh, yeah.
because if you don't succeed the wound roll, you're not taking the normal damage, but you're
But the
taking the
mortal
mortal wound
wound,
in addition. The
Yeah,
normal
okay,
was
yeah.
0.
Yeah, but in the other books, they put the caveat: the attack sequence continues as normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's fine because it says
yeah.
you take a mortal wound, the attack sequence continues as normal.
Yeah.
That's great. It makes sense. You continue with the attack sequence after taking a mortal
I
wound.
just wish that these for the 6 for a mortal wound, they would do it on the wound roll instead of the hit roll.
Well, like they're wanting this to happen more often.
Yeah, they just want to pull out more mortal wounds. It's just not consistent on the.
Well, but then you don't have to
Yeah.
question. It happened on the wound roll. If you rolled a 6, you got the wound.
Right.
So
Or do it like you did with death, and then just make it.
Yeah.
This stops.
Yeah.
But it's an artifact, so Snap, snap, snare pull. This cruelly cursed things catcher shatters its victim's bones with a crushing noose of magical energy. So that's not even a snare pull. That's just going to kill it.
Yeah.
Yep.
At the start of the combat phase, pick one enemy model within 3 inches of the bear. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by that model. As it just,
so its fluff is it just crushes it, but its effect is it doesn't do any damage.
it just subtracts 1. Well, it crushes its.
Just makes it harder for me to hit you.
Yeah.
We crushed your hand bone.
Yep.
Oh, rat tail snake.
A disgusting familiar fashioned from the tails, eyes, and venomous fangs. This abomination clings to its master's body beneath its ragged robes, and lunges forth to bite any who threaten him.
Wait, so it's a rat tail snake.
Yep.
Fashioned from tails, eyes, and venomous fangs.
Of rats.
Of rats.
That just sounds like a snake.
It does.
It's kind of like a snake. It's just made from all these rat
Rats.
tails and rat eyes
So they
and
call it a rat snake.
rat
That
fangs.
is a thing.
You have to make an unmodified save roll for an attack that targets the bear as a 6. You have to get a 6 on your save roll.
It's a on a 6 splashback.
Yep. You
Flashback.
give them a mortal wound back. Rabid Crown. You can re-roll wound rolls for attacks made by friendly clan's Molder Pack units while they are wholly within correctly 13 inches of the bearer. And then Flesh Gift Vial. Once per battle in your shooting phase, you can pick one enemy unit within 6 inches of the bearer and roll a die. On a 1, the bearer suffers 1 mortal wound. On a 2 to 5, the enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. On a 6, the enemy unit suffers D6 mortal wounds. That might would be a once per battle that I could, because you get good odds of
like
getting
that.
a benefit from it. You want to take tools?
You got the tools of murder from clans.
And like I said, lots of options
Mm-hmm.
for
Oh, yeah.
Skaven.
Tons.
Which we're going to get to the sad part. The battalions are all trash. You have all these options, you're never going to be able to
Well, yeah.
take.
You take one.
The Beastmen are also mostly because I don't think they're worth. I don't think what you get from them is worth their point cost.
Oh yeah, no, that's the same thing as this. The pestilence ones are insanity good.
So we got the Shadow Magnet Trinket. Once per battle, the bearer can fight at the start of the combat phase before the players pick any other units to fight in that combat phase. The bearer cannot fight again in the combat phase unless an ability or spell allows it to fight more than once. So I go first, pretty much.
Which you could give that to your deceiver and not that.
Far Skitter Cloak. Once per battle, at the end of your movement phase, you can remove the bearer from the battlefield and set them up again anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches from enemy units. That's pretty good. You got the 3 fangs. They have a lot of once per battles. Once
Yeah.
per battle at the start of your shooting phase, you can pick one enemy hero unit within 6 inches of the bearer and roll 3 dice. If all 3 rolls are 3+ and the combined value of the 3 dice is greater than that enemy model's wound characteristic, that enemy model is slain.
I hate that because, first of all of your dice have to be 3 up, and then they have to total. Which, I mean, if they're all 3 up, you've probably got good chances of it totaling above their
You're
wound
going to kill
characteristic.
anything that's not mounted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
But I think that's what.
But if you roll a single 1 or 2,
It doesn't
it's
do
done. It doesn't do anything.
And it's once per battle.
Oh wow! So it's just 3 blades find their mark in a victim at once. So he just gets dagger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very nice.
But the problem with
Sage can't buy the shirts anymore, by the way.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Like,
the bad thing about that is you're throwing 3 dice. So a 1 or 2 happens 1/3 of the time.
Mm-hmm.
You're almost guaranteed of getting a 1
Yeah,
or
to be
2.
fair, like how many times do you
Statistically.
make 4 attacks and
Hey,
3
true.
hit and you hit all?
Yeah, true.
I mean, just the ability to straight up kill a hero. I mean,
But with a once per battle, and you've
Yeah,
got,
it's a
you've got a
once-
33% chance of hitting
Yeah.
a 1 or 2, and you're throwing 3 dice. That's
But once again, on the off chance the total is 18,
18. Yeah.
you could literally throw it at a Lariel and kill her.
that would be beautiful.
It would be. You'd have to roll almost all 6s because the Lariel's got 16 wounds. But
Dagger, and the Lariel's dead.
Yeah.
That would be beautiful.
it would be. I mean, you could throw it. You couldn't do it to Arcana. He's got 20 wounds.
Yeah, but could you imagine that player picking up 90 Dryads after that happening? Because they're just not going to play anymore.
Be like, what are your 90 Dryads going to do to me without a Lariel?
Right. Then we have the Warp Weeper stars. So lethal that they must be kept in a lead-lined pouch. These barbed stars have mutating warpstone tips and bleed excruciating acidic venom. Pick one of the bearer's missile weapons. If the unmodified wound roll for an attack made with that weapon is 6, that attack inflicts D3 more wounds on the target in addition to any normal damage. That's really good.
Yeah.
Then the cube.
You give that to the
Mists.
Seaver and add to a Stiletto.
Oh, that's nasty.
That's pretty good. Or not a Stiletto, his Doomstar. Oh, Doomstar already does D3 normally.
Yeah, it's D3 in addition to D3.
Oh, in addition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
put
in
that on
addition
Doomstar. That's pretty
to-
good. Doomstar's only 1 attack, though.
I mean, yeah. Wound rolls a 6, though.
Yeah.
2D3. And then you roll 2.
And if it's a unit of 10 or more, it's a D6.
Yeah, that's good.
I like the gnaw bomb.
The Gnaw Bomb.
Nah.
Oh, we got a puzzle box. The Cube of Mist, the ominous puzzle box, contains a fragment of Ulguin Realmstone. It gives off a constant eerie fume that distorts perception and tricks the unwary. He has such great sights to show us. Once per battle, at the start of the combat phase, you can pick one enemy unit within 6 inches of the bearer. They cannot make a pile-in move in that combat phase. In addition, subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by that unit. That's really
That's
good.
a good once per battle. Yeah, I will give that one. That's a once per battle I would take.
Yeah.
Because you can just shut them down.
Yep.
In the combat
Yeah.
phase
You're not
for
doing
one
nothing.
combat round.
Well, they just can't pilot.
Yeah, which can shut them down.
Yeah, they still attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, -1.
Yeah.
And then the Gnaw Bomb. The fearsome weapon uses novel technology to tear temporary rent in reality. Again, once per battle in your hero phase, you can pick one terrain feature within 6 inches of the bearer. Until your next hero phase, that terrain feature has the scenery rules from the Nahul War Scroll, in addition to the scenery rules it already has.
That could help you get a unit where you need it to
Possibly.
be. It's,
Yeah, you
it's
have
a
to
little
set up for
situational,
it,
but yeah, it's a little situational, but it could be good.
That'd be pretty cool.
All right, Wes, take us home with Spell Lores.
All right, so you have the Lord of Ruin, which is for, this is an unfortunate bit, it says Grey Seer only. It's not Master Claim.
Yeah.
Which means you can't give it to your Vermin Lords. Because they're not Grey Seers. But okay, so you have Scorch. This is my favorite one. Well, it's not my favorite one, it's the one I use. I don't know if it's my favorite or not. But has a casting value of 5. If successfully cast, you pick an enemy unit within 13 inches of the caster visible to them, and you roll a number of dice equal to the casting roll. For each 6, that unit suffers a mortal wound.
That could be good. It could be bad.
Oh.
You could get no 6s.
Oh, trust me, I've gotten plenty of no 6s.
Yeah, you got no 6 against me one time.
Splinter, this is also a really good one. It's a casting value of 6. If successfully cast, you pick an enemy model within 6 inches of the caster and roll a die. If the roll is greater than the model's wound characteristics, it's slain. If which is cool for like singling out things. But once again, it's a spell. They're going to be able to pile in and fix their coherency. So
Yeah.
it's not like the slitter where you do it.
I mean,
Does that happen in Hero? That happens in combat phase.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they've already gone and then you slitter them, they can't fix their coherency.
Yeah.
Yep.
That thing is broken.
It's before I pile in though.
Whatever.
Silver lining.
Then you have Skill Leap, which
Before you pile.
it's about casting value 6. If successfully cast, you pick a friendly Skaven hero with a runes characteristic of 12 or less that's within 13 inches of the caster, invisible to them. Remove that hero from the battlefield and set it up again anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches from enemy units. That hero cannot move in the following movement phase. The 12 wounds or less is quite permanent here because it means you can't do it to think.
For definite reasons.
Yeah. You can take the next 3, Mike.
You also have Plague, which is casting value of 7. If you successfully cast it, you pick an enemy unit within 13 inches. Thank you for using 13. And you roll 1 die for each model in the unit. Each 5 up, the unit suffers a single mortal wound. So that was pretty decent.
Yeah.
Death Frenzy, casting value of 7 as well. You pick a friendly Skaven unit that is not a hero, which is wholly within 13 inches of the caster, and visible to them. Until your next hero phase, when a model from the unit is slain, before it's removed from play, it can make a pile in, move, and attack with a melee weapon it is armed with. So it gives them some of the corn stuff. And then Warp Gale. I like the.
This one's great.
Yeah, I like a screeching in an unholy tongue. The Grayseer parts the veil of reality and draws a ravening gale of unnatural energies forth. That's just pretty cool. Warp Gale has a casting value of 8. If successfully cast, pick 1 enemy unit within 26 inches of the caster and visible to them. The unit suffers D3 mortal wounds, and any run or charge rolls for that unit are halved until your next hero phase. If the unit can fly, it cannot fly. And that is in addition to having its run and charge rolls halved.
Yeah. Crippling.
Yes.
It's really good. So most of those spells have a dreaded version that is assigned to specific vermin lords that make them a little bit nastier.
Dreaded Warp Gale.
Yeah, dreaded Warp Gale is on the Warp Seer. It literally does exactly the same thing except it's D6 mortal wounds.
Yeah.
But yeah, the dreaded version, like dreaded Skitter Leap, is the vermin lord Deceiver has, and it lets you pop up within 6 inches.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's really good. You just have him hopping all around the board.
Yeah.
The other lore that you have is the lore of Warp Bolt Galvanism, which is for Clan Scryer Wizards. You have the
More
warp power. At great risk, the engineer channels raw warp lightning power to nearby allies or himself with spectacular pyrotechnic results. More warp power has a casting value of 7. If successfully cast, pick 1 friendly Clan Scryer unit wholly within 12 inches of the caster.
Should be 13.
It should be.
Yeah,
they miss it a lot. You can reroll hit and wound rolls for that unit until your next hero phase. However, at the end of your next hero phase, that unit suffers D3 more wounds. You're throwing that on a unit of Storm Fiends probably.
Yep.
Or, I guess you technically might throw it on. No, you wouldn't throw it on a cannon because you have to roll to hit and wound. You're not going to throw it on a weapon team because you probably kill them because they only got 3 wounds anyway. So. Then you have Chain Warp Lightning. This is the one that I give to my Bombardiers. It has a casting value of 6.
Yeah.
If successfully cast, you pick up to D6 different enemy units within 18 inches of the caster. Each of those units suffers a mortal wound. And then Warp Lightning Shield. Warp Lightning Shield has a casting value of 6. If successfully cast until your next hero phase, the first 3 wounds allocated to the caster in each phase are negated.
This was my favorite.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. If a 4th wound is allocated to the
That's
caster
where it
in the
gets nasty.
same phase, then the caster suffers D6 mortal wounds, and this spell is unbound. The first 3 wounds are still allocated, or still negated.
D6 plus 1.
Or it's just D6.
Well, the 4th one is
The
out.
4th wound is allocated. Then he suffers D6.
He suffers D6. Oh, D6 mortal wounds in addition to
Because the 4th wound is allocated to him, and then he suffers D6.
Yeah. So
if you can stack up and get the 4 wounds on him,
he's getting
ouch.
it, right?
Yeah.
He did.
And then how long are we in, Mike?
We are actually at 1 hour and almost 15 minutes.
All right, well, we'll talk about knotholes, and then that's probably where we wrap it up.
Yeah.
So the
'Cause
knothole,
we already said the battalions aren't worth.
yeah.
Read them, but we don't like reading them.
Yeah, so the knothole is the terrain feature that the Skaven get. The Skaven Titan Army can include up to 3 knothole terrain features. After territories have been chosen, but before armies are set up, you can set up the knotholes for your army. Each knothole must be set up wholly within 8 inches of the edge of the battlefield, more than 3 inches from any enemy units or objectives. I don't understand why they say enemy units there. There aren't any on the board. And more than 1 inch from any other terrain feature. If both players can set up any terrain features before armies are set up, they must roll off, and the winner chooses who sets up their terrain features first.
It's probably if you play like the Realm of Beasts, because you set up the beasts, I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the one thing that I don't like about novels, I don't like 2 things about novels, actually. The first thing that I don't like about it is you have to set them up almost in places where they're just not useful. That being said, you can use it to strategically lock down an enemy unit if you want to, or if your opponent wants to keep you from using a novel, because of the rules for setting up near novel, how you have to set up when you move through them. You could put them in your opponent's deployment zone, and if he doesn't want you to just jump into his deployment zone, he's got to keep stuff.
He's got to type it, which you did to me. I tied up a unit for just about a whole game.
Yeah. So that's actually what they're for. They're not actually for what we're about to say. So tunnels to reality. At the start of your movement phase, you can use 1 knothole to transport 1 friendly Skaven Tide unit. In order to do so, that unit must be wholly within 6 inches of the knothole, and a friendly Skaven Tide hero must be within 6 inches of the knothole. If this is the case, remove the Skaven Tide unit from the battlefield, then set it up wholly within 6 inches of another knothole and more than 9 inches from any enemy models. This counts as that unit phase. That is so horribly restrictive, and the fact that it happens at the beginning of your movement phase makes it a 2-turn proposition to get it to happen. Or you set up ready for it.
Yeah.
You deploy with the idea that you're through.
Yeah. But if you deploy that way, your opponent sees your deployment and covers up your knotholes.
Yep. And that means you're deployed at the very back of your deployment zone, because your knothole has to be within
8 inches.
Or has to be wholly within 8 inches of the battlefield. The knotholes are about 5 or 6 inches in diameter.
Yeah.
They're just sitting on the edge of the board. They're not.
Yep.
There's that. Then Aura of the Horned Rat. Skaven Tide units treat this terrain feature as having the Arcane Scenery rule.
Which gives you +1 to casting roll.
And
Unbinding.
Yep. And other units treat this terrain feature as having the Deadly Scenery rule.
Which, for units that go over it, you roll a 6-sided die on a 1, they suffer D3 more wounds.
Yep. In addition, you can add 1 to the dice that determines if a prayer is answered, if the prayer is chanted by a friendly Skaven Tide priest within 1 inch of the novel. So you get +1 to casting and unbinding for your wizards, if they're within 1 inch of an arcane terrain feature, and D3 if you're within 1 inch on any roll of 1 for the deadly. As far as the terrain features go that have been released, it ain't the best. It could be the worst, but I don't know if it's the worst. Yeah,
We'll see.
I think it's on par with the shipwreck, but now that you can set up 2 full shipwrecks, they FAQ'd that. You can get a little bit more
Coverage.
a little bit more coverage.
A little more coverage.
The shipwrecks are a little bit better. It's certainly not as good as the shack for the goblins.
I think the gnaw holes end up being a little bit more situational based on how your opponent reacts to it.
Yep. They make your opponent answer questions.
Correct.
Which is good.
Yeah. Precisely. And you still get a little bit of the benefit of, if you're within such and such of it, you get plus to such and such. But the placement of them with where they are and range of spells.
Yeah, the range of a lot of your spells is short. So the thing that I hate is that it's at the beginning of your movement phase.
At least it's free stuff.
It is free, yeah. Sure. But it would be nice if it was at the end of your movement phase.
I agree.
So that you could get things in place and then jump them.
Yeah.
But hey.
I think the idea is to prevent the movement and the jump.
Right.
But you can still do it in the movement phase.
You're more than likely running backwards to get to it.
But a unit that has used the gnaw hole, you just put the rule in that is considered their movement.
Mhm.
So you couldn't move a hero within range to pop a unit, and the unit come through and then move.
Right.
Yeah, which
It would make sense. Yeah.
does it already count as their movement, or
It counts as their movement
Yeah.
when they go through. Well, they can't move after that.
yeah? So let it be at the end of the movement phase.
Yeah. I mean,
Because if you move to and within range of it, and then pop them through, that's no different as far as where they end up as if it was the beginning. It just gives you a little bit more viability in setting it up to be able to use it.
It's just awkward.
Yeah.
The way it is.
yeah, it's awkward to use. And the fact that you can only do it once per turn.
Yeah.
And you've only got 3 of them, so that means it's going to be really hard to get 2 units wholly within 6 inches of it. So that on turn 1 I can jump one to one knothole. On turn 2 I can jump the other one to a knothole.
Yeah.
Like they're just awkward to use. I think, like I said, it forces your opponent to have questions, which is more important than the movement bit. I mean, I've used the movement bit once to really good effect, to secure an objective. But
It's going to be situational, and as people learn what the different units for Skaven can do now with the new rule set, your opponents are going to be more wise in their reaction to the knothole based on what you've got close.
I think based on the
Figures that you can send it
knothole,
through.
the other thing I think too, based on the knothole lore, that they missed a great opportunity for lore into rules. Because what they should do is they should just vomit out clan rats.
Yeah.
That's what they should do.
Yeah.
Because
Roll a die for each knothole. On a 4 up, a unit of clan rats pops out.
Yeah.
And there's your summoning component for the game, because
Yeah.
10 clan rats by themselves
Well,
is
because when
nothing,
you
but
read
when they're constantly coming out, jeez.
when you read the lore of the novels, it's not that they're in battle like, oh, I need to be over there. That's not how it works. They burrow the knotholes to show up and do Skaven things.
Right.
You don't jump back through it to then go that's not how you just dig a new one.
Yeah.
So I think they missed a good opportunity to translate the lore with the way they set up the rule. They made it a functional game rule, I get, but
I kind of wish for clan rats, especially, they would have given them the zombie rule that they took away, which was just the merging of the horde. So if you have a unit next to a unit within 1 inch of each other at the end of the movement phase, they just become a giant unit.
Yeah.
So if you got 6 left in a unit and a unit of 20,
Now it's a unit of
now it's
26.
26.
Yeah.
Yep.
that would have been
Because that's exactly what's going to happen. Those 6 are not going to stand there by themselves. They're going to merge into that giant unitus.
Yeah.
20.
Which and something like that would also force your foe. You couldn't just ignore, 10 clan rats coming through.
Yeah.
You got to do
that's
something.
the reason they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Is because when you have to tally up points at the end. Well, I killed 6 more out of that unit. Well, yeah, but you didn't.
But that didn't count for any points.
Yeah, right.
So that's basically our scale. I like the book overall.
Yeah, I think
I'm
overall it's a
pretty
good
sure-
book. It's not bad. It certainly is probably not. Well, it's certainly not the top tier. I still think. Nighthawk is probably above Skaven. Death in general is above Skaven in terms of art.
Oh, we'll see. We'll play a bunch of games and see.
Yeah. Like I said, if you haven't seen the new Corn stuff, they obliterate everything.
Yeah.
They're disgusting.
I saw a Corn and new Skaven book or battle report, and it was gross. It was horrible. There were rats burning everywhere. Yeah, it was bad.
As it should be.
But no,
I'm just kidding, Wes.
I think from a gaming standpoint, no, it's a vibe. Like, you don't have to be like, it's not like the Sylvan Death book where I'm like, well, this doesn't help me any.
Yeah.
It hurts.
Yeah.
I think they did miss lots of opportunities to change the way that Skaven naturally function. Because literally what they did was they just stuck everything in one book. There's no real changes. There's a handful of little minute changes. All the allegiance abilities are obviously a thing, but it's still broken up into the clans.
Into the clans.
Which is, to me, they hit the lore. I think one thing that they could have done with Skaven to really sort of upset the meta, as it were, was say, like, you don't have any restrictions when it comes to building your match play army. You don't need battle line.
Yeah.
Or everything's battle line. Because when you talk about how a Skaven army is built, it's literally one warlord from a particular clan. It's like, all right, what do I need? Well, I need some cannons from Clan Scryer, and I need some clan rats from over here, and I need Molder, a packmaster, and his monsters. And they literally, it's all the different clans come together to make an army.
And they're conniving and scheming to get what they want to build their army.
So I mean, you could have almost just said, yeah, you don't have battle line requirements. Yeah, I mean, sure, have like the behemoth, like you can't take an army of just behemoths.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, that's what that one got.
Well, you still put limits on the max number of other units,
right?
But those units could also count toward your battle line.
Yeah, sure. No, but I think they could have done that. And I don't know if I said this again because we talk about this too much, even outside of the podcast. But with Slanesh, I think it's the Pretender's Host, where they have 3.
Yeah, they could have done something similar to that.
Yeah. So you have 3 generals, and while this might be battle line in this army, well, all right, I've got a general for that, so their battle line here, but I've got this general over here, and their battle line in that army. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I've got 3 different generals and 3 different types of battle line. Technically, they wouldn't work in a normal army, but they work in this army.
Well, because the one thing that they did when you look at the match play of points and everything is all the specialty units. So like Storm Fiends, Scryer Acolytes, which Scryer Acolytes are still trash. Gutter Runners, Night Runners. Giant Rats, Rat Ogres, things like that. Those things are all battle line for that particular clan. If every unit in your army is from that clan, and that's not how Skaven armies are put together in the lore.
Yeah.
The clans Eshin don't just go to battle with just Gutter Runners. Like they're gonna have other stuff. They're gonna combine and make really shady deals with other.
Right. Precisely.
So,
I think they missed a little bit of opportunity there.
Right. So that really, that really does hurt in terms of, if you wanted to build something specific. But I like the idea of building a conglomeration army that has some of everything.
Yeah.
And some you have to push and pull to meet match play requirements when you're doing it. So.
Well, they're fun to play against. At least your Squire build is fun to play against.
I mean, to be fair, I'm not really playing with Squire.
Well, that's true. You're not.
When the game that we played, I did have a lot.
You had a lot of Squire still, yeah.
Which I don't. Unfortunately, it all stays in the bag now.
Yeah.
Or a lot of it does. So,
but it was fun to play against. You seem to have had fun playing when you and I played, and the parts that I watched of yours and Ryan's game. So, which is really the important thing.
Yeah.
But anything else?
No, that's it. Yeah. Tell us what you think on Facebook, Flesh Things.
Yeah, Man Things.
Man Things. Let us know. As always, you can reach us on Twitter at H of the Hammer. We're on Facebook. Just look for H of the Hammer. You'll find us there. And our email is hofthehammer@gmail.com. Please let us know what you think. And if you have any suggestions for the podcast, we are always open to giving our fans what they request if we can. Until next time, keep rolling those dice.
The SGWA would like to thank you for listening. We would also like to mention our theme music, the classic O Fortuna, as recorded by the MIT Concert Choir and used under common license. The age of the hammer is upon us.